I'm back, bitches! What's up, and hey, howdy, hey, y'all. My name is Dallas. Welcome to Dallas Does Makeup, the only place on YouTube where I do makeup. So it's been a while since I've been here. I don't entirely have a plan for today. I just really wanted to sit down. I wanted to film myself doing some makeup. I also have future sister-in-law who is asking me to do her makeup for the wedding. So I'm like trying to think about what she wants. She wants like two different things, and I think I've got a really good idea to combine them. I think it's gonna look really awesome. But like she asked me to do her makeup for the wedding, and so I'm like trying to get back into the groove of doing makeup. I'm gonna test a couple ideas on myself, and mostly I'm just gonna sit here. I'm gonna kind of like update y'all on what's going on with my life and like my makeup journey and like my hormone journey and like my transition and everything like that. Try to keep y'all up to speed. Hopefully you guys find it interesting. If not, I don't care. Yeah, but like with that, let's get started. So I've done a makeup look in the past to like sort of enhance the masculinity of somebody's face, and that has evolved since then. I went back and looked at that video, and I was kind of, you know, I was using a lot of makeup for that. I do have an updated version of enhancing the masculinity of somebody's face, and I do think it's changed a little bit in no small part because of the way the hormones have affected my face and have affected the fat distribution on my body. So the bones in my face appear a little bit different than they did like 2 years ago before I started taking testosterone. And that is because of the hormones that I've been taking. So like I cannot figure out how to fix the white balance in this video, but like I've been dealing with a lot of like stubble. I've got a lot of acne from all of the shaving and all of the hairs coming in and all of the hormones and all of the oil, and like there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot going on with my face right now. And sometimes I like to put on just a little bit, just the tiniest little bit of makeup to make me feel a little bit more confident in the skin that I'm wearing. So I'm very excited to show that to y'all, and I hope that you guys can take away some useful tips from this. I hope you guys enjoy the video that you're watching. I hope you guys like what you see and come back for more. I hope I find more ideas for videos in the future, because I've been kind of having a time of it. And I'm gonna shut up and get started. So one of the things, well, you may have noticed I'm not wearing glasses right now, and that's because I work at an eye doctor's office, and so I got some contact trials, and it's really great for exercising, and it's really great for putting on my makeup, and that's been a really big thing with my makeup style, is a lot of the makeup I do is kind of done in a way that works with the glasses that I'm wearing or like enhances the glasses that I'm wearing, and I really love that style. I think it's very unique. I think it can make people feel a lot more confident in the glasses that they are wearing. It makes me love wearing glasses. But taking glasses off to do my makeup means I can't see what I'm doing. So sometimes putting in contacts is really useful. I like to wear my contacts when I'm exercising. I like to wear my contacts when sometimes I just want a little bit more freedom if I know I'm going to be very active in one of these days coming up. And it's also useful wearing contacts when I am trying to do like really complicated makeup looks, because then I don't have to hold a mirror like 2 inches away from my fucking face in order to see what I'm doing. I'm going to get started with going through sort of the original idea I had for today was doing a revamped version of that masculine makeup look and hoping that people will be able to get some things out of it. Again, the white balance in this video leaves a lot to be desired right now, but we're going to work with it. So first things first is I've got a clean face. I've got some moisturizer on with a little bit of sunscreen. It is already like fully soaked into my face, so I don't have to worry about anything. And then I get just a little bit of I can't find concealer like this that I like quite as much as this. This is the Glossier, and like I'm not going to talk about the issues and the positives and the negatives of Glossier because that's not my thing here. This is the Glossier, what's it called? the Glossier Stretch Concealer. This is the best sort of like low impact concealer I've ever used. I can put it on bare skin and it looks good. I can put it on top of foundation and it looks good. I can put it under foundation and it looks good and it doesn't like smear around. Like, this stuff is kind of like my holy grail. I really like it when I have like really low impact days. And I have noticed that there is kind of a shortage of cream concealers on the market. A lot of concealers out there are liquid. And this one feels like, when you're looking at the website, this thing is like, I want to say like $30 for a pot of concealer. Maybe it's like $20. I don't remember anymore. But it's like, it's kind of expensive at ticket price, at basic purchase price. But then you look at the container and there's so much stuff in here. Like, if you look, I have had this for, I want to say, over a year now. I've only just started to make a dent in the surface. You can see that there's like a little bit of a dent happening here. And that's just because I tend to like, I like to do this thing where I'll swirl my makeup brush in the top of this to sort of get it saturated, to sort of liquidize the cream concealer, and then I like swipe it across the back of my hand to melt it down, get off any like debris, any excess, and then I go in, I'll sort of tap it down into the darkest part of my eye bags. I find the most pigmented, and I can kind of, you'll kind of tap it into the back of your hand again. If you ever need more, you go swirl it into that pot again, dab that into your hand to sort of get off any excess. You find the darkest blemishes on your skin. So I've got a couple where I've got a lot of pigmentation, a lot of redness right here between my brows, a lot right here, do it a little more, boop. And one thing with concealer is like, it's tempting to pile a lot of concealer on. I'm not a fan of the mentality of using like concealer instead of foundation. So there are certain makeup techniques because in essence, concealer and foundation are the same thing. One is just more diluted than the other. So foundation is the diluted version of concealer. And there are some makeup technique schools of thought which claim you can be using concealer in the same way that you would be using foundation or contour or anything like that. And I don't believe in that. I don't think it's a bad technique. I think it's just not the right technique for me. I find that when you use concealer as foundation, you get a lot less blending out of it. You have to put in a lot more work. You get much more of a cakey effect at the end. So as you can see, I dipped into the pot maybe twice, and I've been able to work on covering up all of the blemishes on my face. To be clear, I have a lot. Maybe not the most, but I still have a lot. The bags underneath my eyes, and you know, this light balance is not great on the camera for this type of like detail. I gotta figure out my camera setup a little bit better. But like when I have the lights all the way up so I can actually see what I'm doing, the camera can't seem to like focus. And if I have the lights all the way down so that the camera can pick me up, then it just looks like there's not enough exposure in the video. Like, it looks like it's trying to pick up in a dark room, because it is trying to pick up in a dark. Anyways, I'm really chatty right now. But I like using concealer as concealer and foundation as foundation. It's, yeah, like, maybe not the most innovative thought, but I also like using concealer as concealer because sometimes you don't need foundation. Sometimes all you need is just a little bit of color correction in like one spot or like two spots on your face, and doing like a whole foundation run is just like piling on product that's unnecessary. It's gonna make things look a little bit too even, a little bit unnatural, a little bit uncanny valley. And that's a big thing that you want to avoid when you're doing masculine makeup, is you want to avoid the filtered effect. You want to avoid the like uncanny valley effect, because in our current culture, that filtered effect and that uncanny valley effect is very like subconsciously associated with femininity. So if you are trying to do makeup as a man, you could either like lean into that femininity and really try to like break down gender boundaries, in which case fucking you're my fucking hero. Like, you are my hero. I can't do that because I'm a trans man, and that gives me a lot of gender dysphoria most of the time. But like, if you're a cis man and you do makeup and you want to look like feminine as fuck, I love you. Like, will you marry me? But when you're dealing with like trans masculinity and stuff like that, like keeping things looking as natural as possible is only going to help you. And that doesn't necessarily mean not wearing makeup. Like, I think makeup can be very empowering. Makeup gives me a lot of confidence, makes me feel a little bit freer to express myself. I've got a little bit more room to play. It makes me feel better about the body I have, and about the skin I have, and about the face I have. Anyways, it just makes me feel a little bit better about myself, and it's just really valuable when you're a trans person, feeling like you like yourself. It's really, really important when you're trans. So next thing that we do with a masculine makeup look, like we've got the concealer down, as you can see if I sort of... You can't tell, obviously, because this webcam hates me, but you can see like a little bit of stubble when I turn my chin here. I have a lot of like acne right there, and it's been super inflamed for like a week. And now you don't see any of that redness. And that is the magic of this Glossier concealer. The skin tint, on the other hand, I am not a fan of. I think the skin tint does nothing. I think it helps me in no way. I don't think it helps anybody in any way, except giving like a slightly wet surface on which you can blend the concealer a little bit better. I don't understand the skin tint. I tried it a lot. I don't get it. I don't like it. I don't feel like it's worth it. I feel like you're spending a lot of money just to like rub water on your face. Maybe if you like it, you know, that's your thing. Everybody's got different things they like about makeup. Some people really like a full beat. That's not my thing. Some people really like full coverage. It's not my thing. I am somewhere in between, wanting to have like just a little bit of concealer and wanting to have like a light to medium coverage foundation. But again, it's all very personal. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, we got the concealer down, skin's looking nice, skin's looking fresh, skin's looking healthy, but not flat. That's the important part, is you don't want the skin to look flat. You want that dimension there, you want some of that pigmentation. That's what keeps you looking like you're a real live boy and not like a Pinocchio. What I've got here, this is the M Cosmetics Heaven's Glow Blush in Baroque. Previously on my channel, I've talked about how I don't like shimmery bronzers, and I stand by that. I still don't like shimmery bronzers. I do, however, really, really, really like the shade of this blush, and I wasn't expecting it. Like, I kind of got this shade on a whim. Like, I was testing it, because I really liked everything else M Cosmetics has put out, and I was like, there's no way that this can look good. But it looks great. It's a little bit of like a pinky tan color. So you can see here. So like here's the khaki of my shirt next to sort of the color of the blush. It's got a little bit more of a pinky peach color. It's got the shimmer inside of it isn't really a shimmer so much as a glow. It's got a little bit of a pink shift. It's got a little bit of a gold shift. It's got a little bit of a bronze shift. Like, it's sort of riding that middle ground between being pink toned and between being gold toned and between being like a champagne tone. And it is darker than my skin tone. But instead of making me look muddy, it does make me look sun-kissed, is a very good word to say. It makes me look sun-kissed. It makes me look like I've had a really nice day out in the sun, and that I am just like thriving and living my best life. And that's all we really want, isn't it? But with this thing, so as you can see, this thing comes in a dome, So it starts off being domed here. There's an actual curve that you get here, and you can see if I hold it flat here. Hold it flat and get out of the way. I have flattened this thing off. This is how much I love this product. I am almost down to being flat. And that's another the great thing about this product is it is domed. So you're getting like 3 times as much product as you would if you just got something with like a flat pan in here. But I like to kind of tap it in here and then sort of shake off the excess by tapping it on the mirror. You come in, pack it down on the top of your cheekbone, because that's where the sun would hit you. Start to swirl it around to sort of blend it out. Go to the other side of the brush, the one you didn't use. Pack it onto that cheekbone, swirl it around. Smile. Get it onto your cheek. Get it onto your cheeky weekies. Onto your cheekies. Tap it on the nose. You just kind of want to tap this thing. This is the shade Baroque again. So it's their lightest tan shade from their Da Vinci and Baroque and like whole Renaissance line that they did, which was a lot of like nudes and tans. So you really want to get it in there. I like to tap it against the powder, knock it off very gently, come up on the cheekbones, come up onto the eye near the eyebrow, specifically concentrating on that eyebrow where the brow bone is, where the highest point of your face is. Pack that on there and then start to brush it. And then come up to the hairline here, brush all the hair out of the way. So you see when I brush my hair out of the way, I've got a very square forehead here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that, pack that on right there. And God, I'm so disappointed in this camera based on the fact that like you can't see what's going down here, because the color I am getting is flawless. And I'm going to have to take a photo in order to show you guys proper. Because this color, it's like the perfect sort of sun-kissed shade. It's not turning orange against my skin. It's not making me look sunburned. It's not making me look like I'm wearing a shit ton of makeup. It's not making me look like I put on self-tanner or anything like that. Like, this is a very, very nice, very wearable shade of sort of universal face color or a universal face glow, because I wouldn't call it a blush and I wouldn't call it a highlight and I wouldn't call it a bronzer. It's something that makes my face look so much more alive and so much more awake, and I really, really like that. Sometimes when I like to get a little bit of extra product on a brush, what I do is I use my middle finger to sort of push down on the bristles as I dig into the pan, and then do the same thing up here on my face. As I push down on those bristles, get a little bit more of a firmer touch. Transfer more of that pigment directly onto the face. And then what I also like to do is to try to define my jawbone a little bit, and there's actually 2 things I do for this. One of them is to deposit the shade directly onto that jawbone here, and by brushing on the jawbone and then down to keep that nice sharp lightness underneath my cheekbone, to keep that definition there. But I also like to take it to underneath the jawbone here, where my jawbone meets my neck. There's this muscle that runs all the way down to your neck, and it meets with your collarbone down here. I like to take that and I like to give it a nice swipe. And I think that does more for marrying the color into your neck than it does for making you look sun-kissed or anything else. Like, I am a huge, huge, huge stickler in makeup for making the makeup look like it is across like all aspects of your body. Like, I cannot stand a makeup look when somebody's going out with like a full beat, or when somebody's going out with like their foundation and you can see the spot where they blended it out down their neck, because you've got this like flawless, poreless, like very golden sort of skin. They're looking healthy, they're looking great. And then you get down here and it's like unmoisturized, graying out, You know, like they don't put as much care into their neck or into their chest and shoulders as they do into their face. And like, that's fine. Makeup is a lot of work, but it's just not my thing. And now y'all know me. Anytime I do a highlight, anytime I do a blush, I love to bring it onto my ears. I love to make those things stand out a little bit. When you've got the short hair, you can't hide those ears. When you got the short hair, you can't hide your makeup. You can't hide your lines. You want to blend that shit everywhere. Put a little bit onto that Adam's apple. My non-existent Adam's apple that I do not have. I do... One day. Actually, probably no day. I'm never going to have an Adam's apple. Anyways. Okay, so far, we have done concealer. We have done a, like, blush, bronzer, highlight. Like, I'm not going to call it a blonzer because that's dumb. It is just like a face color. It's like a maybe I have to call it a bronzer. I don't want to call it a blonzer. Blonzer's so dumb. Last thing I like to do with the little, especially this shade of blush, when you've got something that's a little bit bronzy, a little bit blushy, a little bit of a highlight, it's kind of a little bit of everything. I like to put it on my finger, and then I take it up to my Cupid's bow. This is something that's a little bit specific to my face shape and to the shape of my face, because I have such a skin-toned Cupid's bow versus I have a very like full and pink lower lip, but my Cupid's bow tends to be very flesh-toned. So I like to take that blush and that bronzer up to that top Cupid's bow. I'm actually blending it above the line of the lip here, where the Cupid's bow sort of meets that, you know, where your nose and your Cupid's bow meet, and you got those like two lines coming down from your face, kind of like right there. I like to blend it up to that and kind of blend it out. It gives me the effect of like a pursed upper lip. It makes me feel a little bit luscious. It makes me feel a little bit sexy. It makes me feel like I've really like incorporated the makeup into all aspects of my face. Another thing I like to do is if I want a little bit more of an impact here on the eyes, I get my finger in there. And that is another great thing about this product, is it is actually eye safe. So not all makeup brands are going to create a blush or a highlight or a bronzer that is safe to use on the eyes, and M Cosmetics has been very deliberate about the fact that all of their products are eye safe. I think except for their liquid blush, I think everything is eye safe, and I don't know why you would be using liquid blush on the eyes anyways. I mean, I'm not one to judge, obviously, but it is so very sheer, I don't think you'd get any impact if you used liquid blush on the eyes. But what I've just done is I put this on the eyes, I put it on my lower lid. I have a very prominent lower lid. I like to use this to kind of darken it slightly. It pushes it back. It makes my eyes look a little bit more sunken and a little bit less like bug-eyed, which is a thing I've always really struggled with. That's why I like wearing glasses instead of contacts. I think a lot of the time glasses can hide the fact that I have very prominent eyes. Wine time. But okay, so we've done exactly 2 makeup steps here. We have done a concealer, for which I used the lovely Fenty concealer brush. I like this because there's a lot of bristles and it's very fat, and so I can like use it for a lot. And we have used the M Cosmetics blush in Baroque. This is their powder blush. That has been exactly 2 steps. I'm going to take a selfie so I'm going to show you what those 2 we've done exactly 2 steps. I'm going to show you what those look like by showing you a selfie, because the white balance on this camera is driving me absolutely bonkers. That selfie is going to show up on the screen at some point here. So now one of the last things we're going to do, now that you've seen what just 2 steps can do for your skin and what 2 steps can do for your bone structure, is we're going to finish off with some eyebrows. And for the eyebrows, I actually I actually like using two products for the eyebrows. Sometimes when I'm feeling lazy, I just use the pencil or I just use the gel, you know, either or. But when I'm doing a nice, like, masculine look, and when I'm only using, like, a little bit of concealer, a little bit of that blush to sort of enhance the bone structure, I like to go in and really make those eyebrows pop. And I feel like that really gives me a nice masculine look. Now, one of the tricks with eyebrows, especially when doing, like, a masculine eyebrow and not a feminine eyebrow, isn't necessarily in the darkness or the boldness of the brow. It's more in the finesse of the brow, is something I've noticed. A feminine eyebrow, when you're doing a full beat or when you're doing a feminine eyebrow, a lot of times there's a lot of sharper lines, you know, really making sure that the edges are nice and crisp and nice and clean. But when you have a masculine brow, I've been having a lot of hair growth up here, especially, like right across the unibrow region. That's why I've got so much acne right here. With a masculine brow, you've got more stray hairs that you're dealing with. And while I also like to sort of keep my eyebrows nice and clean, I'll clean up some of the stray hairs, especially when they get too low or too high upon the tail end of my eyebrow. But most masculine eyebrows are still going to have a little bit of a messiness to them. That's what's going to read as more masculine to people. When I go in with, like, my eyebrow pencil, I've got the Fenty Ash Brown right here, I think. Yeah, I've got, like, the Fenty pencil right here. I like it because there's a nice range of colors. It's nice and skinny. I also really like the brush on the end of it. I think this is a really nice brush. I wish more brushes were like this. I like to go in the end of it. I think this is a really nice brush. I wish more brushes were like this. I like to go in with this pencil, and first you sort of go in, you very gently create some eye brush strokes or some shadow for the hairs that are already there. You try to find the hairs that you already have and create a little bit of shadow for them with your brush. You could even go one shade lighter in your eyebrow color when you're doing this for the pencil to avoid making too blocky of a brow. So you go in, you create some shadow, you find those eyebrows high hairs, you find the shape you want to make, and you just very gently, like, we're not pushing, we're not drawing lines. What we're doing is we're doing little sketching motions. We're kind of sketching our eyebrows on at the moment. The bulk of the fill is going to come from, like, a volumizing eyebrow gel. But with just the pencil alone and just a couple of short strokes, you can already see there's a massive difference here between the fill on a brush like this. So if I brush my hairs up, we've got a nice shape here. It's looking nice and uniform, but it's not looking blocky. We've got some forward color over here, a little bit past the eye. So most eyebrow techniques will tell you to stop right here at the corner of the eye. I like to, for a masculine brow, take it on a little bit of an angle and go from the eye to where the nose sort of ends. And you've got that little bit of an angle there, you can see. Same thing on this end. Most brows will tell you, you know, find that angle there, and that's where you want to end your brow. But with a masculine brow, you can go a little bit outside the lines. Same thing on this side. So you find those eyebrows here, do a lot of short strokes, sort of filling in where you think that there should be shadows, making the eyebrows look slightly larger, slightly hairier, without having to actually grow any extra hairs. Another important thing to remember is, like, your eyebrows are not twins. I remember Jenna Marble said this once, where, like, your eyebrows are cousins or something, or no, your eyebrows are sisters, they're not twins. They're not going to look exactly alike. Don't try to make them look exactly alike. That is going to really sort of enter the uncanny valley as if your eyebrows look exactly alike. So you want to kind of be true to the current shape of your eyebrows. You can edit that as you please with, like, a tweezer, but you're not going to be able to create hairs where you don't have hairs. You want to honor what you already have on your face and just use good products and good techniques to really sort of bring attention to them or to enhance what you already have. That's the thing with makeup. You should not be entering a makeup world with the perspective that you are going to completely alter how you look. That is a great perspective to have if you're doing SFX or if you're doing costuming stuff or cosplay or drag. Like, there are avenues for that kind of mentality, and it's very impressive when people do that. Like, when people can alter the entire shape of their face with makeup, that is very impressive, and I'm not knocking that. What I am saying is, for a day-to-day masculine look, you want to do something that you can replicate every single day, and you want to do something that replicates what people are already interpreting about your face. You want to take what you already have, you want to enhance it, you want to draw attention to the things that you like about yourself, you want to detract attention from the things you don't like. You're not erasing and you're not creating things. You are simply shining a spotlight on the parts of your face that you like. And that's what I love about makeup, is it's essentially like a theater for the eyes. Or it's a theater for the face. It's essentially a theater for the face. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. Maybe I need more wine. Maybe I need less wine. I've had a lot of wine today. I've had an entire bottle. So you can already see with the just the pencil. I'm going to put up another selfie here so that y'all can see it, because this light, once again, is not doing me any favors. So even with just the pencil, we've already established a more dominant brow look. It's something that's a little bit soft. It's got a little bit of a softer edge. It looks more like a thick brow due to the pencil creating a shadow effect beneath all of the eyebrow hairs. It makes it look like there are more hairs up there creating shadows. But what I also want to do is I want to make those hairs look slightly darker. I want to make those hairs slightly thicker. I want to make it look like those hairs themselves are a little bit darker and thicker, like I just said. I'm repeating myself. So I've got my favorite. I've got my usual favorite, the Milk Kush Eyebrow Gel in the shade of Herb. It is a new color that they came out with. It's a slightly cooler toned, slightly lighter shade of Dutch, which is their normal neutral brown shade. And I think the Herb works very, very slightly better than the Dutch does. The color difference is almost, it's almost impossible to tell when you're looking at it, but when you use eyebrow products as often as I do, like, you can tell. You eventually figure it out. But I'm using the color Herb. I've got the nice little brush. I like these tiny little fat brushes. And I'm going to go in, and first I start at the bottom of my brow here, at the back end and the bottom. I brush down very gently, not too much product on all of it. And then I brush up. Starting from those brows, I brush down. You want to avoid making clumps. Clean up wherever you need with just a little bit of a finger. And really start to find those little hairs at the front of your eyebrow, those ones that make up not quite a full eyebrow, but enough that they are slightly darker than the rest of the hair on your face. Grab those with that brush very gently. So there we see pencil and gel versus just pencil. We've got a slightly smaller effect here, a little slower impact. Put it back into the tube. Do not pump it. Do not pump it. That is how you're introducing air to the product. You're going to make it expire faster. You're going to make it drain out faster. Do not pump your brush in the product tube. I cannot stand when people do that and they start doing this. Yeah. Okay. Put it in the tube. Screw it closed. Unscrew it, and then, especially if you're each reaching the end of the tube, then instead of pumping it, if you need to, you can swirl it around the edge of the tube like that, and then come out, wipe off the excess. Do not pump your tubes. Gives me, I have like a panic attack every time I see someone do that. It's just, oh, it's so bad. Okay, once again, we're there. Brushing down very gently. We don't want clumps. And then brushing back up. Brushing down and then brushing up does two things. So when you brush down, what you're doing is you're coating the backside of your hairs on your eyebrows. This is providing a little bit of extra bulk, so it's filling out the eyebrows a little bit more. It's making the individual hairs slightly thicker on the back side. So imagine this is a hair. When you're going on the back side, you're creating little a little bit of coating like that, and then when you go on the front side, you're creating a little bit of coating like that. So not only are you getting slightly thicker hairs, you're also getting a little bit of extra hold, because when you coat the back side and that starts to dry, then when you go back with the front side, then you're really sticking it into place, and you're sort of sticking the hairs upwards rather than downwards. You're making it a lot less heavy on just the front because you're putting some weight on the back as well, so when you do stick it back, it's got a little bit of counterweight to hold it in place. You're more likely to find your brows are staying in place when you coat the back as well as the front, especially when you coat the back before you coat the front. So this is the really basic, this is a really quick, sort of everyday masculine look that I do. I've used exactly 4 products for this. You could use 3, you could use 2, depending on the nuances of your face and the nuances of your journey. I'm going to put up another selfie here so that you can see what it looks like now that I have done my concealer, my blush, my eyebrow pencil, and my eyebrow gel. That is 4 things. I'm going to put up that selfie right here so you can see that. And that is a very quick update to the masculine makeup that I have done in the past on this channel. I hope you guys find this very informative. I hope you guys can take away something from this. I hope I have given you some information about how makeup can serve you. And before I leave for the day, I'm going to put on a little bit of lip gloss because I'm feeling a little fancy. I'm feeling a little fancy. I'm feeling a little pretty. This is the shade Peyton from About Face. It's their lip oil. It's kind of like a bronzy shade, a very good summer shade. One thing I really like about the About Face lip oils is they tend to have a little bit of a foil effect, especially if you get the glitter ones. Like, they're very good at packing a lot of color into just a little bit of product. And I am not normally a fan of lip gloss. I don't like the stickiness. I don't like how I have to keep reapplying them. And I don't like how a lot of them don't have as much pigment for the amount of product that you get. But the About Face ones... Another selfie going up here, but you can see even without the selfie, like, I've got a really nice sort of bronzed foil effect going here. And that was exactly one of these. That was like, I didn't reinsert this into the tube, as you could see. I pulled it out, and I got enough product to do my entire mouth. And I've gotten some pretty big lips. Like, not the biggest. You know, I'd say they're about medium sized. But, like, for white people, they're pretty big lips. Another selfie going up here so you can see what that Peyton sort of foil effect looks like. But I really like that about Face, is they're very good on pigment. They bring the pigment. Anytime you buy something from them, like, it will be pigmented. Anyways, thanks so much for tuning back in. I hope you guys got something from this video, and if not, I hope you move on with your day and do something productive. I hope you guys liked this video, and if not, I hope you move on with your day and do something productive. If you do like this video, give me a subscribe, give me notifications, give me comments, give me your money, give me your social security number, and if you didn't like this video, goodbye.